Claflin women and men's track team. Their next meet will be at the Georgia Tech Invitational, April 21st and 22nd. Last meet was canceled. But the last meet they participated in the men's 400-meter, freshman Javion Riley and sophomore Zion Murray, whom you've seen on the Claflin Athletic Show, posted the top 2 times in the 400 meters in the CIAA. Another freshman, Jonathan Flymaster, his time was the top in the CIAA 200 meters so far. Claflin men's track and field defending indoor CIAA champs, continuing to roll in the outdoor season as well. Senior Matthew Rocks, he set a school record with the javelin throw. Hey, dates to remember: CIAA outdoor track and field, May 6th and 7th in Durham, North Carolina. You might want to be there to see what happens. Okay, NCAA Division II outdoor track, May 25th through the 27th. That's the ultimate goal, to be able to qualify and get people there. The women's track and field. In the last meet, Zoe Adams, dominant Wonder Woman, she's still rolling, as she was the CIAA Track Athlete of the Week. Again, men and women's track. Next meet at the Georgia Tech Invite, April 21st and 22nd. Claflin softball. After losing 2 in Orangeburg to South Carolina at Aiken, 0-8 and 7-12, Claflin's softball team got pissed. They won 11 of the last 12 and the last 4 in a row, now standing at 17-9 overall, 5-1 in the CIAA. The last 3 or 4 games, oh man, they got some hitters that's been on a roll. Senior Jocelyn Jackson, she's 6 for 9, 8 runs, 6 walks. Boy, you have to throw her a lot of pitches because she's going to look over them. If she gets on base, she's going to score. She had 6 eights and she scored. She's had 6 hits, scored 8 runs in 4 games. Only 9 at-bats because a walk does not count as an at-bat. For us coaches, that walk is just as good as a hit. We got a trio of freshmen that are doing well. Courtney White at third base, she's 7 of 14, 500 over the last 4 games. Knocked in 3 runs, both of those in 1 game. Another freshman, Sydney Carter, 5 of 14 with 9 RBIs over the last 4 games. And Zakaria Jackson, another freshman, she's 6 of 11 the last 4 games, scored 8 runs with 8 RBIs. And that's how you build a program rather than a team. You get people lined up, ready to take the place of those seniors when they leave. Claflin baseball team, we're still holding out hope. They'll get it started after a while. 0-31, they're struggling a little bit, but it doesn't matter how you start. It's important how you finish. And that's an update on Claflin sports heading into this coming weekend. Claflin Athletic Show, always bringing you the update. Hello, this is Mickey Clayton, the coach. INSiiGHTS presents the Claflin Athletic Show, sponsored by Tony T. Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep of Orangeburg, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the return of institutional advancement with world traveler, globally known Miss Veronica Cohen, back from everywhere. We're going to bring her on and let her share some of this information with you about what's been going on with Claflin and being everywhere. Welcome to the show again, Miss Cohen.
Hi, Mickey. Thank you so very much for having me again. Awesome opportunity. Thank you.
Oh, the awesome opportunity is what Claflin has afforded you, keeping you busy, having you travel the globe. I think you made that trip 2-3 times. What's going on?
Well, we have a director of global programs and the associate professor of marketing. Her name is Dr. Annette Jackson. She's been with Claflin maybe about 5, 6 months, and she's awesome at globalization and what she does and bring to Claflin University. The program department that she is over, it has possibilities for faculty and student engagement, research information, and technology transfer, and a cultural exchange with different countries. For instance, study abroad, supporting the faculty to build new partnership when it comes to internationalization. So she's very good at what she does. And what she did is she organized a trip to Cape Town, South Africa. We had about 7 faculty members, one alum, 3 staff members, and a couple of friends that went on the trip with us. I know that who you have in the green room is Dr. Catherine Adams. Dr. Adams is one of the faculty members that attended, that was on the trip with us. And I know she's busy teaching class, so I want her to have an opportunity to talk about the experience and what we had in Cape Town, South Africa. And then once she's done, then I can tell you a little bit more about, which is an awesome thing for our faculty as well as our students. We had an opportunity to go to a company by Carol Devine. She is well known, where they do hand painting for on beautiful tablecloth and art on clothing, and it was very good. She gave us information on how she got started and where she is now, and she actually trained and teach the Africans in Cape Town on how to do this. And she hires them so they can go back to their community and teach and learn as well. We had an opportunity to go to homeless shelter. We spent about 5 hours at a homeless shelter, and we went in the kitchen and helped prepare the food, as well as we met the philanthropists who actually manage and fund the homeless center, as well as some of the homeless folks that came for dinner that evening. We all were there actually serving and preparing food for the center as well. We met this great guy by the name of Paul, who is the chef at the homeless center. And I think I sent you quite a bit of pictures, and you can, eventually put them together. As far as the homeless center, it was such a great experience to be in Cape Town, South Africa, to see that, and for us to be a part of that community when it came to helping in that particular area. Cape Town is absolutely beautiful. The mountains are gorgeous. Of course, we went to a winery, and that was so fun. We had wine tasting, had stories about how the winery started. It's beautiful there, and it's very well set up, where you can see the actual fields where the grapes are grown, the different types of white and red, um, the wine tasting, and the equipment that is used to actually produce the wine is just fabulous. Um, so that was great. We also went to Robben Island, the museum tour, where Mandela spent 18 years in prison there. That was kind of depressing to me. The tour, to see his cell where he stayed for 18 years, didn't have any contact outside of that prison cell. Um, and you had storytellers of a young man who had been there for years as a young kid, and now he comes back and tells the story of where. I would like to introduce you to Dr. Catherine Adams, who is one of the awesome professors here at Claflin University. I'm going to let her actually tell you her title. She was one of the faculty members that went on the trip to Cape Town, South Africa, where we had such a great experience. Dr. Adams?
Thank you. Thank you both so much. I am really happy to be here. As you can see, I am literally in my introduction to African Studies class. So this is an appropriate time for us to talk about the trip and then also how it has already been infused into what I do. Um, I am an associate professor in African and African American Studies here at Claflin, and I'm finishing up my 4th year here. And so many of the semester, I think with the exception of the first semester, COVID has been kind of hovering over my time here. And so this opportunity with Dr. Annette Jackson joining the faculty and opening up Claflin to these travel experiences, it's been amazing. It's like coming out from hibernation. And so the opportunity to travel to Cape Town, I think that Dr. Jackson always talks about how you learn about a place, but you also learn about yourself. And I think that when I got on that bus to go to Charlotte, I was thinking I'm just going away for spring break. But it was an amazing group of people. The company is also a part of the journey. And so sometimes you could be going someplace where you may not have any expectations. And when you see and feel a sense of camaraderie, it can make all the difference. We got to Cape Town, and I just think from the time that we had to like run through the airport, you could just see everybody had decided that we were going to help each other. So somebody wasn't, kind of running as fast. We had a, delayed flight. And we had to make it across the airport, and somebody just grabbed her bag and just kept right on rolling with it. And then somebody else took her bag out her arm so that she didn't have anything except to get herself to the gate. And I remember one of my colleagues said, "Oh, I see how we're doing this," right? And it just set the tone for the entire trip. We got a chance to visit just a wide range of places. We went to the botanical gardens, and we saw things that represented the biodiversity in Africa, of plant life, of things that, each plant, each tree had a story to it. And that was such an amazing trip, and the scenery. They actually had a bus of they had a bus of Nelson Mandela, and then they showed us a bird of paradise that they've named for Nelson Mandela, right? So that was our time in the botanical gardens. We also spent some time at a shop of a woman who prints aprons and tablecloths and napkins. And she started in her garage, which is like this kind of like up from the ground that you hear with a lot of stories. And she's employing lots of people, but some people she wasn't able to keep because of COVID. And so, she's really, you can tell that the people that are still with her. I actually went on Facebook after our trip, and one of the women that is in one of the pictures that we have that we came back, she's been with her for 13 years. Like, I kept looking back at all the Facebook pictures they do, holiday pictures and the like. And so some of those people have been at that place for a very long time. As Mrs. Cohen mentioned, we went to Robben Island, and we got a chance to experience that place that has always been a place of exile. That is where They put people all the way back in the 1600s when they wanted to get rid of dissenters. That's where they sent them, to Robben Island. When they had a bout with leprosy, then they put the people who had leprosy on Robben Island. And then during where you see the pushback and the beginning of these resistance movements all across the continent of Africa, then this is where they put the resistors to the soon to come independence movement. And so this is how Nelson Mandela and a whole host of his comrades and young people who were following them, young people who ended up in prison with them. And so the thing that I took away from Robben Island was that I never heard anybody tell a story of somebody who had been in prison or sent to Robben Island for a criminal offense. No theft, no murder, no assault. All of it was, you are resisting the social structure that we are trying to put in place to maintain our lifestyle, right? I think that much of the trip came from when we talk in Africana studies about the governance, who we are to each other, it came from those conversations that we were having with other people. So as Ms. Cohen mentioned, we went to the food, we went to distribute food, but it was the conversations that we had with the Ghanaian cook who was like, let me give you a spoon so you can taste what I made. And it was good. It was really good. He showed us the spices that he used. It was like some Cajun spice, some paprika. It was like a bean soup that it was very good. And so we got like the chef's pick. We got that first taste out of the pot. And we just really enjoyed his spirit and his energy, and I think that was reciprocated. I think everywhere we went, we tried to engage with people, tried to engage with each other, and I think the thing that I learned most about was a woman that was named Kratoa. And I think I mentioned that as soon as I came back, right? I talked about how she stood in the gap as a translator for her people, for the Khoisan people, and between her people and the Dutch. And she basically gave up her life in her own village among her own people so that she knew they had to create some space between the Dutch that were encroaching. And so she agrees to go and live in the household of one of those managers. And they find that she just had a natural skill for languages. And so they start to use her as a translator. But then she's not trusted because the Dutch are sure that she is taking secrets back to her people. And she was. But then the flip side was that her people, when they would see her put on the Dutch clothing, they were sure that she was working against them. And I don't think that there was any evidence that she was doing that, but I think that she reminded me of somebody like a Phyllis Wheatley, who is trying to fight for the liberation of her people in some ways that everybody just can't do, right? And some very difficult choices. And when the people who can protect her on both sides are no longer around to protect her, she gets exiled to Robben Island. And she's left there to die. She's charged with alcoholism and prostitution. But it's like the kind of life that she was leading, I don't know if if you charging people with alcoholism, then that those jails might be full, right? And with prostitution, institution, with that kind of charge, we have to realize that some of that is maybe not knowing who, or maybe her not giving up the name of the father of her children, right? And so, so those are two different conversations, but certainly I learned a lot about her, and I'm going to try to push the South African government to release the dynamic video that they had, that they played while you were on the ferry. So they play it while you're on the ferry, but some people are like, these are some choppy waters, I'm just gonna close my eyes so I can make it to the other side. But the documentary that they played, it was like a libation, because we were on the water, and that's what libation is about, right? It's using water, the vehicle of water, in remembrance. And so they had words on the screen, but there was no talking, and it just had words playing across the screen. We are remembering our ancestors. We are remembering our ancestors. We are remembering our ancestors. So I'm bringing that to you because I couldn't bring the video back. I was hoping they would sell it, and I was all over Cape Town asking, how do I get that video? So I think that the best thing that I could do was just really sit with the materials as best I could, so that I could convey some of that to my students. And I've already done a presentation to my church in Columbia, and probably to anybody else who will listen.
Wow, that was some amazing information that you gave to everybody. Thank you, and kudos to you with the knowledge to be able to come back and pass it on to everybody. That's wow. Talk about an educational moment.
Claflin University has been the choice of thousands of students to help them prepare for a life of success and to realize their dreams.
Claflin has an amazing reputation of preparing the workforce here in the South Carolina region and globally. We know that your experience here at Claflin will be transformational.
The university has many articulation agreements with international institutions of higher education. Consider Claflin University as your choice, because the world needs visionaries.
I liked it on Facebook.
Follow us on Twitter, INSiiGHTS.
Yeah.
2 I's in the middle. INSiiGHTS.
All right, y'all.